success. I am success. I am ready. I am ready. I am ready. I am ready. Welcome. This is A Lott of Help, and I am your certified life coach, James Lott Jr. I'm so glad you can join me on a nice Tuesday morning, or whenever you're listening to this, of course. I am so happy. It is almost the end of August. That means the summer is almost over. I can't believe it. It went by so fast. Fall is upon us. Kids are back in school. If you have kids, they're back in school, and we're getting to head towards those months where actually it's one of my favorite times of the year, the fall. So I'm very excited about that. I have a great guest today. Someone who I think we're gonna talk about this. We're gonna really talk about this, about therapy. We're gonna talk about it and why it is important that if you need it, it's okay to go get it. The stigma is gonna be crushed. There's nothing, no shame, nothing. We're gonna talk about all of that. She is an LA-based licensed psychotherapist, has her own internet talk show, so she's like me, she knows what's going on. Epiphany on Accelerated Radio on Saturday mornings. So you gotta make sure you listen to her, because she's good. And we're going to talk to her, and she is Miyume McKinley. How are you?
I'm great. Thanks so much for having me on your show. I'm excited.
I'm going to read a quote that you have that I like. So I'm going to read this quote, my voice on. This is from Miyume herself. Seeking therapy does not mean you're crazy, weak, or that you don't have faith. It means you are smart enough to recognize when things are becoming too difficult/overwhelming. Strong enough to acknowledge that learning new ways of coping will be helpful, and brave enough to face your challenges head on, unquote. Smart, strong, brave. I think exactly this statement is 10,000% true, and I'm so glad you said that. I think it's a great quote.
Absolutely. I think a lot of times, a lot of individuals spend a lot of time every day trying to avoid themselves, or run from themselves. That's why I think when you actually take the time to sit and look at yourself, face some of the things that you've been running from, that one of the most scariest things ever. So I'm not going to minimize it. It is very scary to sit and take a look at yourself. But secondly, it's one of the most courageous things that the person can do. It's so many distractions in society, so it's easy to get caught up in social media and phones and what's next on the reality TV, and so a lot of people spend times kind of matching what's happening for them, running from what's happening for them, or so distracted they don't realize anything is happening for them. And so I feel like going to therapy and really focusing on yourself is like the best investment that a person can make in their lives. So I definitely encourage people to do that.
You just said something that we're going to touch upon in a minute about not real things, why things are happening for you, you don't realize why. Okay, so first, yes, I totally agree with all of that. I think I've done therapy. Those people I just want to know I have done therapy. I was a victim of a violent assault years ago, and I needed therapy. I thought I could handle it myself. And one of the things I want to talk about, because folks, if you don't know you should know who I am by now. I've been doing this for years. But if you don't know who I am, I'm black. I want to tell you, I am black. I come from black culture that says you don't go to therapy. You don't do therapy. Black folks don't go to therapy. That's a white thing. I just want to tell you that is not true and not correct. Therapy, I had to overcome that stigma for myself, that cultural stigma. And I actually was so glad I had a great therapist. And she was at LCSW too. She was great. I loved her. Sherry Coddington, wherever you are, she was great. So let's talk about that.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of stigma associated, especially in the African American community. If you go to therapy, it means you're crazy, you don't have faith. I've heard a lot, and there are a lot of people who are suffering in silence because of the stigma associated with it, or because you need to be strong enough. I've heard a lot of people even say, well, I'm supposed to be able to get through this. I'm supposed to be able to get through this. But I can't tell you how many people, when you pull them to the side, when they're at home at night, that they're really struggling with some things. And so I totally am in line with you on what you're doing in terms of breaking the stigma associated with it, because it doesn't mean that you don't have faith in whatever your spiritual belief. It doesn't mean that culturally you're going against it, especially in African American culture. We go to church for everything. Right? yes, we do. Pray for everything.
Yes.
Pray for everything.
Yes.
Which I am definitely, I'm not mocking that because I
No,
think prayer, whatever your
I
spiritual
agree.
belief system, and therapy go hand in hand.
I agree.
But it's important if uncle or grandmother is suffering from high blood pressure or passed out on the floor or look like she's about to faint, you may pray over her, but you usually take her to the doctor.
That's true. That's
right?
true.
So if your child breaks their arm,
Right.
you don't sit there and say, "Oh, Lord is going to heal it." You say a prayer and take them to the doctor and let them get their cast. And I think because mental health is such an invisible diagnosis that you can't see it outside of what we see in Hollywood or the more extreme diagnoses such as schizophrenia. When it comes to the day-to-day things that people are dealing with, depression, anxiety, PTSD, maybe someone experienced something such as yourself where they have some type of traumatic event happen. A lot of people are like, I don't know why I'm having these nightmares. I just can't sleep. Or I don't know why I've been up for all these days. Or I don't know why I keep bouncing from job to job to job. They just say, I can't focus, not recognizing that all of these are symptoms of maybe something underlying, and therapy would be something that can help. So just like you go to the doctor for your high blood pressure medication, you go for the doctor if you're having chest, you would go to the doctor for your, mental health, but it's not something that's seen as prevalent. So
I'm glad you said it that way because that's so true. It's like we I have a spiritual advisor. I mean, I have a pastor who advises me spiritually on certain things, but there's also the secular methods. Like I integrate both of them together. I have no problem going to a therapist or another life coach or somebody for help. Yeah, I do both. I mean, to me, you can have not too much. You can never have too much help. I mean, I just think it's like there's no such thing when you're trying to live your best life. So I agree. I'm so glad you just said that. It's just like, yeah, I mean,
Yeah, and with emotional health, I don't people really understand. So I want to take time to highlight the impact. Like your emotional health, how you feel mentally and emotionally impacts every aspect of your life, and I don't think people make that connection. I mean, if we look at the most basic level, I've said this before, where when you're hungry, when you're super hungry, most people have an attitude.
Yes.
That's the most basic level of how you feel.
Yes, it is.
How you're acting. We see the Snickers commercials and all this stuff. But if you think about it, it impacts how you interact with your loved ones, how patient you are with your kids, how intimate you are with your spouse or loved one. It impacts all of that. It impacts how focused you are at work. Are you able to concentrate? Are you as productive as possible? A lot of people come in, and I've had people sit on my couch and say, I don't know what's going on with me. I'm just not feeling like myself. And that's just it. They can't really describe it. They're just not feeling like themselves. It impacts your ability to socialize. It impacts how you interact just in every physical health-wise. A lot of people with anxiety, for example, suffer from stomach problems. They suffer from gastrointestinal problems because of the high anxiety and how it's impacting their physical being. Migraines are very prevalent for people with high anxiety. For those with depression, definitely lethargy, feeling extremely tired. And so, I can go on and you can stop me.
No, but one of the things that you talked about was, these are all great analogies. I love this. One you talk about is it's that whole thing of, I don't know what's going on with me. Like, and so they come to you. I don't know what's going on. I don't know why I'm not advancing at work. I don't know why I don't have a man. I don't know why. And it's like you're not taking time to look within yourself. So that's why you don't know why, so to speak. You probably deep down know why, but you need somebody to help you bring that out and look at it, right?
Right. And I think another how would I phrase it? Another reason people don't seek therapy is, I've heard the phrase so many times, so I can't do nothing about it. So why do I need to? It's already happened. This person beat me up. I was in this car accident. My mom or dad wasn't there. I was raped. It already happened. I don't want to talk about it. Like, what's the point in talking about something that happened so long ago? It can't change anything. And that holds true. We're right. We can't change the past, most definitely. However, if you can't talk about it, then that means that it's still something going on for you, right? If you can't talk about it, which if you think on, when it comes to AA or survivors of rape, things of that nature, they have them tell their story over and over and over and over. And why do you think that is? Because there's a component of that involves healing and moving past it. So do we want you to live there? No, I don't think anyone should live in that unhealthy, hurtful space. That is hard being there. However, skipping over it, just kind of, it never provides you healing. I always I'm an analogy queen. I tell all my clients. So
I love analogies. I love it. I love it.
So I always give the analogy of having an extremely deep wound. So really, really deep cut, a nasty cut, and instead of taking antibiotics, you put Neosporin in the Band-Aid. I don't know if anybody else knows Neosporin.
yeah.
That's a southern thing. But
Right.
You put a little alcohol and a Band-Aid on it. So when you do that, it may be okay for a couple hours. It may be okay for a couple days. But eventually it's going to push back up. The infection's going to surface the top, and it's going to hurt just as bad, and you're going to end up cleaning it out again. Yeah. And so therapy, when you ignore things, when you go out with friends, when you maybe self-medicate with alcohol or smoking marijuana, all of that, when you consistently people around you so you don't have to deal with yourself, that's like the alcohol and the Band-Aid, just cleaning it up temporarily. But you have to be by yourself at some point. And if you don't take therapy, which is like the antibiotics, which is the healing from the inside out, which will eventually leave a scar. You remember what happened. You remember that fall you had. You remember that cut. But it doesn't hurt as bad. Yeah. And it's the same exact thing. Therapy is an opportunity to heal, work through some things. And so the memory is still there, but the intensity, when you think about it, lessens.
That's great. It's funny. Say for me, and I've talked about this on this program, because this is my program basically for life and helping people with their lives and affecting change. I was raped and beaten up years ago. It was very violent, and I tried to cover it up because men don't get raped. They don't. I mean, I couldn't. I didn't want to look at the actual events that happened, because once I looked at the events that happened, it was like clearly I couldn't have done anything. It was all sneaky, and it was just out of my control. But I had this whole control issue, because as men, of course, we have control issues. And I went for years without getting help. But I noticed parts of my life were just stuck. There were little things that happened, things that didn't seemingly seem related, would get stuck in my life. And later, when I got into therapy, I found the reason, because I hadn't finished dealing with the rape. And it's like once we started going through it, and it was painful. It was painful, folks. I'll tell you, it was painful. But once we got through and started looking at stuff step by step, other things started to unlock in my life. Again, not seemingly connected, but everything's connected. When you think about it, everything's connected. You find out in life, and I was able to move forward. And actually, it was fun. There's on Oprah, of course, Miss Oprah. She had one of those famous guests who said that famous phrase that changed my life forever. To go back to your thing of people saying, what already happened, I can't do anything about it. The definition of forgiveness is giving up the hope the past could be any different. And when I heard that phrase, it changed my life. So it's like, yes, the past will not be different. You can't do anything about the past, but you got to reconcile it somewhere and put it in and forgive yourself for whatever part you think you had in it, and also be able to live with it and move forward. That's what I learned from therapy, and Oprah taught me that. They both do me in tandem. It's like, again, I mean, Oprah said it to me, and then my therapist put it into practice. We worked it out. So it's a 1-2 punch that now, when I talk about it, yeah, it's always going to be a little painful. I mean, it's not a fun time in my life, but it does. You're right. It doesn't hurt as much. My life isn't. I think right now, I don't think anything in my life right now is holding me back because of that incident at all. I think that incident's been reconciled.
Yeah, I mean, thank you for open to sharing your story with others, because I think that takes a lot of courage, and it also opens the door. You're definitely helping people, so your mission here is happening, because you change lives by people hearing your story, because a lot of people feel that it's this taboo. They don't want anyone to know what's happened to them, whatever their own traumatic event is, right? They feel like they're by themselves, they're embarrassed, there's a lot of shame involved with it.
Yes.
And so once you're able to work through those things, it's so freeing.
Yes.
It's like a weight lifted off of, and many don't realize how much of their life it's controlling. It's great that you were able to finally reach a point where you say, okay, yeah, let me work through this. But a lot of people don't realize that it does impact, or whatever you're going through, impacts every aspect of your life in some way, shape, or form.
Yes.
Feelings have to, another analogy.
I love it. Go on, girl. Do it.
Feelings have to go somewhere. period. There is no such thing as feelings disappearing. So you have a choice, right? We talk about control, and a lot of people feel as though they're taking control of their lives when they are not talking about it. When I'm not going to deal with the fact that my father wasn't there. I'm not going to deal with the fact that, you know, my sister died at this age. It happened. I'm moving on. I'm living life, and I think that's great. And it does take lots of resilient people walking around that have very, very difficult challenges that they've overcame. And it still impacts you emotionally. So feelings have to go somewhere. And if you don't take control of how those feelings come out, meaning talking to someone, seeing a therapist, working through those ugly details that you don't like to deal with, the ones that when all your friends are gone, when you're at home by yourself, laying in bed with the lights out, the ones that keep you up,
Yes.
feelings that, you know, you can't run away from yourself. You have to take yourself with you wherever you go. So
that's true.
running is going to eventually stop, right? The running will eventually stop, and then those feelings come up. And so if you don't control how they come out randomly. So, you know,
But go ahead.
I cooked chicken today. Why did you cook it?
Right.
You know?
Right.
It's like, what?
Why
are you yelling again?
Right. I just want people to know that for me, the bottom line was therapy helped me. And that's kind of what I that's my bottom line is that, so I learned these things, and maybe I could have learned them in other ways, but actual therapy, going to a therapist once a week for a set amount of time, actually helped me get better. In tandem with, exercise and my spiritual advisor and friends and, and the kids, whatever.
It's a tool.
It helps.
Yeah, therapy is a tool in the toolkit, right? It's another tool that you can utilize to help improve your quality of life.
Yeah. Now, okay, so you've been a therapist. There was over 10 years. So you've been doing it for a while. Was this something that was this something you always wanted to do, or did you kind of fall into it, or was it a calling? What do you think? What do you think? Yes.
I have always had the question why. I can think back to being extremely young and like, I don't understand why they're acting that way. Like, why, Mom? Why are they?
How funny.
So I think I've always had this question as to why people behave the way they do. Wanting to understand why people think in certain ways. Why people act in certain ways. And that started at a young age. When I went to college, actually, Xavier in New Orleans, when I jumped out and went to college, I thought I was going to be a radiologist. I went to Xavier University, which was huge pre-med university, the #1 school for getting African Americans into medical school. And I was like, oh, yes, I'm going to be a radiologist. I don't even really have to deal with people. I can just look at these x-rays, tell them what's broken, and move on.
Wow.
And then I took my first college biology class, and it was like, oh, this is nothing like high school.
Oh, I'm sure.
I had always had a passion for psychology in high school. I took all my extracurricular activities with psychology. I loved watching, learning how the mind works. I loved, reading interviews and things with like Jeffrey Dahmer, all of this stuff that was just so interesting to me. And so in college, I started taking psychology, and it was so natural. And so I was like, this is where I'm supposed to be. It was just understood. And so I ended up changing to psychology pre-medicine because I couldn't graduate from Xavier without the pre-med. My dad would have killed me.
Oh my God, I'm sure.
Without the pre-med on it, but and it just came so natural to me. And I truly love what I do. I absolutely love what I do every single day. And
wow.
It's amazing. I get to help change lives.
You do.
How cool is that?
I know. How cool is that? I mean, seriously. We get to do stuff that actually is affecting change in the world. I had jobs. I had jobs. I was just pushing papers. I wasn't affecting nobody. I wasn't doing anything that was meaningful, and I hated those jobs. And I later found my calling as an organizer, life coach, now a radio, TV producer, and host. I found my calling. I can actually connect people with ideas and things that can affect their lives in a positive way. I think we're so fortunate. We live in gratitude. We're so fortunate to do that. You're based in San Pedro, LA, or you're down here?
Yes, well, it's Los Angeles County, and I'm in San Pedro, which is about 15-20 minutes from, I guess, what would be considered Maine, Los Angeles.
Well, not far from. I'm in Inglewood, so you're not far from me. Not that far.
Oh yeah, not far at all.
Not that far at all. Yeah, so you're not that far down. So yes, you're like southern part of LA. It's towards the water, folks. You're not out here. I always think of like it's before you get to Long Beach, correct?
It's before you get to Long Beach.
Yeah,
right?
it's like before you get to Long Beach. Yeah,
I'm about 15 minutes from Long Beach. Probably about 20 minutes from
That's the thing.
area.
That's what you're about, yeah. Because actually, a friend of mine was looking for some place to live out in San Pedro. A little expensive right now. Things are changing in the South
Yeah.
Bay area. Because if you're in Inglewood too, things changing. What is your clientele consist of mostly down there?
Wow, that's a good question. You know what? I think coming into therapy, people feel as though that it's mostly like women
Okay.
stereotype, but that's not the case. I have a clinician that works at my practice, and she sees children 0 to 5.
Oh, okay.
In parent-child interactive therapy, so it's a plethora. I'd say youngest right now is about 5 years old,
Okay.
and all the way up to retirement age. Because we have Spanish speaking, we have a lot of Hispanics, we have African Americans, those who come in, and I love the fact when people, because to be honest, it's not just African American culture. I can speak from that,
Right.
but in Latino culture and Asian culture, there's this blanket of you don't go to therapy, you don't talk about your problems. What happens in this house stays in this house. Right?
Yes.
And
yes.
so that's some of the stigma also associated. But going back to stigma, but it's a plethora of individuals that come in. So we service youth, we service adults, we service those who are in retirement, because you think, oh, you're in retirement, things are wonderful, but that is a huge life transition
Yes.
for a lot of people, from going from doing something for 30, 40 years to now you have all this free time. What do you do with it? And some people are looking forward to it and they have their plans. They're going to travel the world. And for some people, it's really hard redefining what their purpose is and what their role is in life now. So all the way up through retirement age, like mental health, and all of us have emotions, no matter what our color, race, age. All of us have emotions, and so I get a plethora of clientele.
Yeah, you bring something up. Yes, change of life. I deal with a lot of change of life clients in my organizing practice. And I say change of life: retirement, widowhood, divorce, children leaving home. Those are all things that will affect someone's mental health. That we take it for granted sometimes. People joke about empty nest syndrome, but it is a real thing. Some people really talk about that. Some people really do feel it, don't they?
Absolutely. I mean, because your role is changing. If you think of every aspect of your life, you have a role. So your role for 18 to maybe kids are leaving home later now.
Oh yeah, that's very true. Or coming back.
It's like 30, right?
Yeah, or coming back home. One of the two.
Before you be completely independent, and so your role as a parent and being actively involved in your child's life in whatever way, shape, or form you're doing that. It has been that way for 20 plus years probably, and so when that's removed, you actually have time to think for yourself. And like, what is it that you want to do? And though it's kind of enlightening, great, and exciting at the same time, it's extremely scary rather, because it goes back to, okay, what's my purpose now? Right, and really having an opportunity to sit back and, what do I really like? My life has been revolving around my child, and not that you totally neglect yourself, but most parents, who are actively involved in their child's life, your child is your life, right?
It is. I'm a parent. I know. No, it is.
Right,
It's
life is revolving around practice and
no, seriously, yes.
And so when that's removed, because now they're independent or out on their own, venturing school or work or whatever it may be doing, now you have the chance, what do I really like? I can sleep in, or I can actually wake up early and think about myself, and it really it's hard. It sounds lovely when you're in the midst of working. You say, I can't wait till you all leave. I can't wait till they go to college. Right. But at the same time, it's redefining your role, and you reevaluate, did I do enough? Did I do enough for them?
And that's so true.
What legacy am I leaving? Go ahead, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, it's fine. I'm saying, I agree with you. Like, that's because a lot of people, especially women, who are the primary, a lot of times men too, but primarily the ones who are raising their children or staying home or in a part-time, whatever. The children really are the focus, because you're raising these little human beings, whether it's 1 or 3 or 5, doesn't matter. You have to be on top of everything and make sure that they're getting the best care possible, and that's your identity for a long time. You're somebody's mother or somebody's father. That's your identity for a long time. When they mature out of it, or they get married or have their own family, you're like, what do I do now? Like, it's just kind of like, it really does affect you in some way that can be really depressing. Because just like, even though you were looking forward to that time, when it happens sometimes, like, oh, okay, they don't call me as much anymore. They don't need me as much anymore. And it's not them being mean to you or anything like that, just that they have their lives to live. They're young people have their lives to live, and now it's your turn to find out like what's next. Like I do it for 20 years, I didn't really do anything but raise this child. Like what do I do next? You
And
know.
now they're not calling.
Right, they're not calling. Right. You know.
And so sometimes that brings some feelings, and there's these mixed emotions. At least and you can tell me if you've worked with individuals with the same kind of experience. But sometimes there's mixed emotions in terms of, yes, I raised them to be independent, but not that independent. You know, now they're not calling, or they're unappreciative. Right. I did all of this investing, and now they can't even pick up the phone. And so sometimes it's feelings of that, which when you say it out loud, or when people say, "Oh, I'm saying this out loud," it sounds crazy. I can't believe I'm saying it, but it's the truth.
It is.
You know, there are some, and you said, they've needed you. What, that is important, to people to feel needed. It's important, especially by your kids. And now you're not needed, quote unquote. Not gonna, use that term loosely anymore. And so what becomes your purpose? And so I'd encourage people to look at it as an opportunity to redefine who you are and discover. You get to discover yourself now at whatever age you are when your kids come. So what do you like now? It may not be the same thing you liked when they were growing up, before you got pregnant. You get to discover what you like. Do you like to travel? Do you like, reading? What are some of the things that you want to do? You get to redefine who you are. And if you think of it in that way, it's more of an opportunity versus a burden.
Yes. That's true. I like that. She says versus a burden. I like that. That's what you got to figure out. I guess you got to figure that out. And for me, my sisters and them who are becoming I'm a grandfather of 3, and I have family members becoming grandparents. And I had said things. I was the first in the group, and I said some of the hardest things you'll go through is watching your kids parent. And they're all now they're going through it. So now they're telling me, "Oh my God, you're right. I did not like." And I said, "So sometimes it is, and you have to follow." And it's that whole thing of, what do you say? What do you not say? How far can you go? How far can you not go? How far do you let them make their own mistakes? Not always towards the kid, like their lives. You're thinking they should be living this way, and the kids are here, and it's like, well, you lived your certain way too, and it's like it's a hard thing to do. And I feel like some of my friends actually went and got therapy for that. They actually went to therapy to kind of help them calm down and see the more rounded. So, therapy can help in so many different areas of your life, not just, I'm falling apart, just like there could be areas of your life that need help, right?
Thank you. Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up, because you can be preventative.
Yeah.
You don't have to wait until, the fact is there's a lot of people come in crisis. That's just
right.
Right. You get busy with life, things happen. I see a lot of people after they've lost their job, or their job is mandated that they have to take a mandatory something like, something of that, or the wife or husband has left.
Yeah.
Their kids are not talking to them anymore. So some major crisis has happened that's caused them to do some self-check. So that does happen. But like you said, it could be for anything. It could be, I'm changing jobs. I'm relocating to a new state. I'm divorced, and now I'm thinking about going back into dating. And I want to make sure that, no past issues impact how the person I find. Because you find a lot of people who, when we talk about it coming out in different ways, you mentioned dating the same type of person. I have a lot of people come in and say, I keep finding these type of guys. Do I have this written on my forehead?
Right.
That may be
right.
to check in with a therapist just to see if there are certain behavior patterns and things that are unaware to you, subconsciously. And I have a question for you, actually. I know I'm
please. No, please do. This is interactive. We are having a discussion. Please.
Go ahead. For you, because a lot of people have this. What was it like for you? Did you know what therapy was before you decided to do it? Did you have any idea on what it was? Because I find that a lot of people are just like, I don't know what to expect when I go see a therapist. Or they think it's something like on TV, it's going to be this dark room with a big chair and me holding my glasses and with my notepad.
Yes, that's a good question. Okay, so my answer is I thought I knew what therapy was, and I didn't once I started. Because again, I was a smart kid, and I said, and I went into the medical field because I said I was a CNA for CMA, then CNA, and I became a nurse. So by the time I went to therapy, I was in my mid-20s, and I thought I knew what therapy was. Like I thought I had an idea what it was, but then when I got in, it was nothing what I thought it was, and I wasn't sure if it was just. I've been a several therapists since, but that first one I thought maybe it was just her. And maybe it was the way she is. Maybe she was an anomaly. And when I went to another therapist later and saw there was a similar every therapist has their own way, but there's similar things you all do. I was like, oh, okay. It's like, no, this is what therapy is. So to answer your question, no, I thought I knew. I thought I knew, but I didn't know. That's my answer. I thought I knew and I didn't know. So actually it was better than I thought it was. I thought it was going to be a lot of, for me, I thought it was going to be a lot of questions, and I just answer them. Question, answer, question, answer. And that actually wasn't the case with any of the therapists I went with. I mean, yeah, there was maybe an opening question, but it was a discussion. It was very much a discussion in my experiences, and I was free to have silences and pauses in the therapy session, which I thought that doesn't happen. And especially coming from television or radio, where a 2-second pause could seem forever on the air or whatever, those kind of things. But to go to a therapy room, go to a room, sit down, and if I need to cry. If I need to think, they encourage me to think. Take your time, think about your answer. Or really dig in there. And I remember I had one therapy session where I think half of it was 50 minutes, half of it I didn't even talk. And excuse me, and it was okay. And the therapist like, well, we got some good work done today. I'm like, we got some good work. I didn't have any talk about it. But no, first of all, you showed up. That's half the battle right there. So congratulations. And 2, I saw you thinking. So whether you said anything or not, you were thinking. And that's also the next thing. That's mindset. That's good. So yeah, so therapy was something that I thought I knew, but I really didn't know at all. Kind of. Didn't really know. And so for me, it's a great experience. For me, it's always been a great experience. And I know this now, and I encourage, I'm saying this out loud, I encourage people, just like with doctors, barbers, hairdressers, you can look around. If you don't like a certain therapist, I say then you find somebody else. There's a lot of them out there. I said to some people with me, I said, I'm a life coach. You don't like my style? There's a lot of life coaches. So I encourage people out there to you can do what you get a second opinion, get therapy, whatever you want to do, but you want to find somebody, in my opinion, that makes me feel comfortable to look within myself and express myself. That's just my thing.
Exactly, and I'm glad, and that's I'm glad to hear you say that, and I'm glad you were able to highlight, because I think a lot of people have a misconception of what it is. I've heard people say, I'm not going to therapy, I'm not paying anyone to tell me what to do. That's total opposite of what therapy is, right?
Yeah.
You don't come for someone to tell you what to do or for someone to tell you about your own life. It's really an opportunity, especially in today's society when things are so busy and we have so many different things on our plate. It's an opportunity, one, for you to have a moment to yourself, which most people don't get, especially if they are married or have kids. You're pulled in so many different directions. It's an opportunity to self-reflect. It's an opportunity to it's a self-investment. You get 50 minutes a week if you go once a week. Some people go more. To really sit and breathe and don't have to worry about judgment. Don't have to worry about whatever you're saying. Don't have to worry about any of that. And you get to really just focus on yourself and how you feel. It's all about you. It's such a priceless self-investment. And I mean, think of all the other things you invest in. You invest in other people. You help people out. You invest in yourself financially, materialistic-wise, and all of this. So why not invest in yourself from an emotional and mental health standpoint? So I love kind of what you highlighted. You thought it was what you thought it wasn't, but it really was an opportunity for you to just sit and think. And sometimes we need that, right?
Well, I come from a large family where there was no privacy, and then I had kids, and I was dealing with people and had roommates and stuff. There's just no privacy for me to actually sometimes to think, to take yourself out of your situation and be somewhere neutral and safe to think. We need some time to think sometimes. Now I have my house. I have a garden, so I go out my backyard. I have a garden. I'm able to think out there. So I was but back then I didn't have anywhere to go, and that was my place to go. To sometimes just shut up and not say anything and think about what my issues are, and it was great. It was great. Now I want to ask you, because I'm just curious, how'd you get a radio show? How'd that come about? Because I know how I got mine, but how'd you get yours?
I actually was the guest therapist on another radio show where they wanted to have more of us. They were talking about real life situations. It was two young ladies, actually two friends of mine, that were just talking about personal things that they went through. One was a breast cancer survivor and had overcome the deaths of two of her brothers. The other was a survivor of divorce, and really highlighted with therapy as well, was highlighting a lot of issues in terms of relationships, with some poor relationship patterns that she's had. And I came on as a guest therapist on their show a couple times to, just kind of offer a different perspective in the mix of everything that they were talking about. And from that, the owner, me and him ended up talking and was like, this is something that's truly needed. Can you come on and do something regularly? And we kind of discussed it, and I was like, I would love to. My goal is to break the stigma associated with mental health, because so many people are suffering in silence. There are so many people contemplating should they live or die. So many people crying at night. So many people walking around with this mask that they have to put on in order to survive in society, but they're really hurting. And I get to see it firsthand, and so I really wanted to let people know that they're not the only ones out there, and to offer a show that wasn't just talk, that offered tangible solutions. So if I'm talking about anxiety and the show's over, if you have anxiety, you have something you can do at home. If I'm talking about overcoming a divorce, if I'm talking about how to talk to your kids about divorce, or newly diagnosed with breast cancer, what are some things you could do that once the radio is off, you have some tangible things that you can implement into your life or share with someone you love who may be going through it. That's kind of how it all started.
Wow, I love that. For me, it was a blog. Because you have a blog also. You have epiphanyradioblog.com, also, correct? Mm-hmm. And I had a blog.
Yes.
And so that got the attention of people, and I got a radio show. So it's kind of funny how that works. You don't know how life will work for you. You're made for it. I mean, I totally. I need to listen to your show. I didn't know you guys had a show. So I'm gonna listen to it and see what's going on. You're very easy to listen to. What?
Thank you. I'm always taking new topics. So I tell people, DM me on social media, email me if there is a topic that you kind of want to discuss, and that's usually how I come up with my topics. Because either someone I know has said, you need to talk about this, or I'm going through this, or I know someone who's going through this, or something in the news. But that's usually how I get my topics.
And do you have guests on your show and stuff like that?
Absolutely. So sometimes it's other clinicians who maybe have different specialties. Maybe someone who specializes in working with human trafficking victims, for example, survivors, for example. Yeah. Someone who's maybe a sex addiction specialist, things of that nature. Sometimes it's actual individuals who have went through something and they're coming on to share their story. They're coming on to share kind of what it was like. So I've had guests on my show who are survivors of breast cancer. And if you're a guest who's sharing your story, like, we get to the emotions. It's not like, oh, I just got through this.
Right.
How did you feel in the moment you were diagnosed?
Yeah.
Really resonating with the fact that they contemplated suicide, the fact that they contemplated not wanting to go forward. It's really raw. It's really uncut, because that's how we reach people.
My kind of show. I love it.
Yeah. So I'm always looking for guests that are open to sharing their story and open to going there, as I say, just so that they can. And also, I link these people to resources. I would hate for someone to come on my show and expose themselves and not have a therapist or someone that they can be linked to. Yeah. But both sides of the story. Both sides, I think, both are important.
That sounds very cool. You guys, it's on Accelerated Radio on Saturday mornings. What time is it on Saturday mornings?
It's Saturday mornings at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. However, if you miss it, because sometimes people are running errands Saturday mornings, all of my shows are available on my blog, and I'm revamping the page to make it a little bit easier access, which you can find the shows there. And also on Facebook, if you go to Epiphany with Miyume, every show I've ever done is there. So there's ways to go back and listen to them as well. And
I will.
There's links so you can pass them on to people. If maybe something resonated with you or someone you can definitely pass it on to them. Well,
I'm going to post that Epiphany with Miyume on my A Lot of Help page, so that'll be up today. People will see that. You can link to it if you listen to this show and go, oh my God, I want to know more about her. I want to hear her show. That will be on the show, because you're part of my village now, so you got to help the village. You got to get the word out there.
Yes, I love it.
That's how I look at all that. We're all. Here's the thing. Mental health is a major concern in our country. You know this, in our world, and someone's mental health in my opinion, maybe this may be controversial, I don't know, but in my opinion, it affects everybody. Everybody in the community, it affects everybody. Whether you know them or not, it affects everything as a ripple effect in some form. So anything I could do to help you promote yourself and your cause and me and do mine, it helps the community.
Absolutely. I mean, when you talk about mental health, you have 1 in 5 people who have a mental health diagnosis.
Yep.
You know, how many people do you know?
I know some who needed. I know some who need a diagnosis, but that's another story. We should go get some help.
I mean, when you think about it, I mean, I love this field because in studying, I can think back to even my own family and how we, as if we go back to cultural perspectives, overlook things. You know, I've written an article for Hope magazine, and it was like, you know, why is it overlooked? Oh, because we minimize it, we normalize it. Oh, that's just Uncle so and so. You know, they're always drinking.
Yes.
Oh, that's just you know, Aunt such and such. You know that she's not right.
Yes.
You know, no.
Exactly.
This may be true. And there are mental health diagnoses that go with that. And I'm definitely not mocking it because this happened in my own family. I mean, I can think back to aunts and things. And when I studied it, I'm like, oh, no, that was schizophrenia.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, no, that was depression. And that was alcoholism.
Right.
Alcohol abuse, you know? And these people are resilient and they survive without any, you know, help at all. But just imagine the quality of life, how much of a even higher quality of life you could have if some of these things were treated, because you don't have to live with anxiety every day. You don't have to live with depression every day. And people don't really understand what that is. I've had people, when I ask them, do you have anxiety? Oh, no. Do you ever experience depression? Oh, no. And then when we get to talking and we talk about symptoms, like, you do realize that's anxiety. So what is anxiety?
Right.
You can't turn your brain off.
Right.
You can't turn your brain off. It's the consistent thoughts. It's the fear of the unknown, the what if, the what if, the what if. I tell my clients, once you get to the fourth what if, it's anxiety lane, abort mission, turn around, go back. Because what if is those questions that can't be answered. So a lot of it is just the lack of education. If we go back to why people don't seek treatment, not really understanding what it is. It's, you know, not sleeping all night because you can't turn your brain off. You're consistently thinking. You're consistently worried about what's going to happen. Or social anxiety. You're worried about social situations. You feel awkward around your friends. You don't know what to say, so you don't say anything for the fear of saying something stupid, as people, quote unquote, say. You know, depression doesn't look like it does in the movies all the time, where you're sitting with a gallon of ice cream and cheese everywhere. I mean, it can.
Yeah.
It can, absolutely. But that doesn't mean that that's depression. Depression can be you just feeling tired all the time. You suddenly wanting to isolate. You not really having the energy. Your interests are slowly kind of diminishing. You don't really do what you used to do. I've heard people describe it as a numbness, like you just don't feel anything. They have a hard time connecting with individuals, and they don't know why, so they just don't know why they can't connect with their loved one anymore. They don't feel the same about their mate. They, you know, it's just they feel kind of alone and just disconnected, and a funk that they just can't get out of. You know, a blanket is what a lot of people describe it as. Or I'm having happy moments, but it's still in the back of my mind, like it's still there.
Yeah.
And so I just want to highlight those things because that's some of the things that resonate with people. It doesn't have to be super extreme. It could be something a little bit more mild. You have plenty of functioning, successful people in society with mental health diagnoses and are getting treatment. That's one of the reasons they're able to be so successful.
Yeah, I so agree with that. You are the best. You're the best, folks. This is Miyume McKinley. She is here based in San Pedro, epiphanyradioblog.com, Accelerated Radio on Sunday mornings. We're going to have all Saturday morning. Sunday. You're going to church on Sunday, sorry. Saturday mornings. And we're going to make sure all of her links are on our Lott of Help page. If you're not at our Lott of Help page, go there, like it. And it tells you all of my guests. I have these amazing guests on my show. I live in gratitude every day who I get on my show. They are there. The information is there. You can go to Spreaker.com and iTunes where this will be available every Tuesday. We do this every single Tuesday. It's out there. Share with anybody you think who needs to hear this. Therapy is okay. I think I'm gonna title the episode "Therapy is Okay." Therapy is okay, and it can be really helpful.
It does not mean that you're crazy.
Exactly.
It's the opposite. And I tell people all the time, of all the people I've worked with, I have never met a person who went crazy from going to therapy and expressing how they feel.
Yeah. Hello.
Now,
not at all.
the latter, keeping everything bottled up.
Yes.
Definitely know people who've also have breakdowns doing that. But
Yes.
the opposite, going to get help, no one has ever lost.
Oh, well, of course not. Yes, exactly. I'm James Lott Jr., you guys. You can follow me at James Lott Jr. where all James Lott Juniors are sold. That's on every social media platform, everywhere in the world. Just type in my name. I will show up. Well, not at your house or anything, but I will show up on your computer screens, tablets, your phone, your TV. As you guys know, I have my TV show Breaking Into on Black Hollywood Live. That's every Monday at 3 p.m. Today I have Christinia DeBarge, actually, one of the DeBarge girls. I'm very excited to talk to her later today about life, and her family has some mental stuff and drug addiction in that family too. So we're going to talk about all of that and her career and how she's doing really well. I am so in gratitude today that everyone who listens to this and who has tuned in, is listening to this. We are here to do this together. Miyume is part of our community now, and I want to thank every single person. Have a great week.